I've been asked many times what my inspiration was for this book. And if I'm being completely honest, it wasn't something that I was necessarily searching for, but rather someone I was seeking after. I was driving home from a mom's meeting with my 3-year-old, pondering a question that I had been asked at the meeting. Are you going to write a book or something? One of my friends bluntly asked me, and this wasn't totally out of left field because just 9 months before I started my blogging journey. However, I had no clear direction of what book I would even write. I had ideas floating around in my head, but there were so many and they were so vague, I just had no idea where to even start. And actually, just a couple short months into my blogging journey, I had no idea what I was doing or envisioning or any of the things, but I had signed up for the She Speaks communications conference, and it was amazing. But I also signed up to meet with a publisher. No idea what I was anticipating or anything of the sort, but most people were like, "Oh, that's really exciting," and I was like, "No, I don't know why I did this. Like, I have absolutely no idea what I was thinking." But I remember filling out the form, and it said it was a requirement for me to submit a book proposal, and my timeline was like less than 7 days, and I was like, "You got to be kidding me!" I had no idea what to do, so I attempted to assemble what I knew very little of a book proposal. And so I took my main blog that really inspired the kickoff of Come Alive with Candace. And so I went that route. But you know, when you make a pancake and the first one is always, eh, you could do better. You look forward to the next one and the one after that. Well, that is exactly how my meeting with the publisher went. It was definitely first pancake experience. I had 20 minutes with this gal, and I truly had no idea what I was doing. And bless her heart, she was gentle with me, but also like, you don't know what you're doing, She's like, oh, But it was a great first step for me. It was good for me to just kind of experience that a little bit, because I was seeking after something, but I had no idea, even in my near future, what it would even look like. So then let's move on. Several months later, in the quietness of my car, God shares with me Matthew 17:20. And as I began praying over that verse while I was driving, I also heard the mighty mountain and the mustard seed. So I was like trying to process where to go with that. At this time also, my 3-year-old was boycotting naps. So I really didn't even know what to do when she fell asleep. And it wasn't just a 20-minute nap. I mean, it was like a 2.5-hour nap. And so I sat down, took advantage of that time, and I prayed over what God had been doing with that passage and the title, and then the storyline just began to build. So I sat down and instantly began typing. Within an hour and a half, I typed the end. I looked around the room and I said out loud, I just wrote a stinking book. Aware that no one was there to celebrate with me, I just began laughing and then almost crying. I took a minute and thanked the Lord for nudging me and always pushing me. So when my kids returned home from school, because they were at the public school at this time, I told them that I had done something. They kind of looked around the room, seeing what change I may have made, and then I told them I wrote a book, but I needed their help. So all 3 of my kids are very creative and artistic, so I encouraged them to listen to the story and help me with the pictures. The reaction I got from them as soon as I got done reading nearly brought tears to my eyes. My 3, 5, and 7-year-old were all enthralled by the message and the story that unfolded just earlier that afternoon. And with no time at all, each of them grabbed their papers, pencils, and everything and began coming up with their visions of what I had just shared with them. So seeing this now being a family opportunity, it got even more exciting. And I shared it with my husband all nonchalantly when he got home, like, hey, I wrote a book. And he was like, oh, that's cool. So I was initially put off by his response, but then I remembered I shared it in a very unexcited way. So it wasn't really until later, anyways, that everything really started connecting. And then the journey of deciding where to publish and how to do all that goes, oh, it was such a headache. I mean, I am not a researcher. My husband is, and he's like, "No, this is your baby. Look into it." And I went down. It was a headache. I'll just tell you that. But the moment that I did decide to self-publish, I it was absolute freedom. I connected with a gal named Vicki Weber. She has At Home Author. I really strongly encourage you to check her out if this is a route you're wanting to take. It was fabulous. She's fabulous. I can't rave enough about her. But she made my journey not even just smooth, but insanely enjoyable. So once I got going in the right direction, I was notified about the art teacher who lived 20 miles away from me. And I thought, well, how great would it be to just have someone close by so we can talk it through? And when I connected with her, it was really great because she heard my whole spiel of how everything came about. I had sent her what I created, and all the things, and she really wanted to take the pictures that my kids started and bring that to life. And I can just say the rest is history because she took what we started and she completed it with her amazing illustrations. So it seems so long ago that everything started, but at the same time, it feels like just yesterday, and it seems so surreal that this is all happening. But that's my story from day one of writing the book and how it's all come about. But I will tell you this, God has taught me more through this message about faith than I can even begin to share. And it's not just one thing He's taught me, it's a continual learning process. Because it just still amazes me how much He loves me, how much He loves you, and how we can be still so consumed by our limited abilities to do anything. Because with God, all things are possible. We have limitless opportunities at our fingertips. James 4:2 says, "You do not have because you do not ask." And then it continues on to say, "But when you ask, you must believe and not doubt." God wants to use you right where you're at. It might not be this big, extravagant thing, but if you're willing to be used, He will use you. Because there's something deep inside each one of us that wants to be used by God. So my question is, are you asking Him? And then, do you believe in Him to follow through with that? Or are you doubting? Charles F. Stanley said it perfectly. He said, faith says, yes, God is here. Yes, God will provide. Yes, God is capable of all things. Do you believe that? Just remember, even faith as small as a mustard seed can say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move because nothing is impossible with God. So go move mountains so others may come to believe.